Hi, welcome to Paka Creations. In this video, we are going to see about Pablo Picasso portrait and his history. Picasso was born on 25th October in 1881 in the city of Malaga, Andalusia, in southern Spain. He was the first child of Don Rose Ruiz Blasco and Maria Picasso Lopez. Picasso's family was of middle class background. His father was a painter who specialized in naturalistic depictions of birds and other game. For most of his life, Ruiz was a professor of art at the School of Crafts and a curator of a local museum. Ruiz's ancestors were minor aristocrats. Picasso's birth certificate and the record of his baptism include very long names combining those of various saints and relatives. Ruiz Y. Picasso were his paternal and maternal surnames respectively per Spanish custom. Do you know his history? His son Giovanni Battista, married to Isabella Musanti, was Pablo's great great grandfather. Of this marriage was born Tommaso. Pablo's maternal great grandfather, Tommaso Picasso, moved to Spain around 1807. Picasso showed a passion and a skill for drawing from an early age. Yes, according to his mother, his first words were pis pis, a shortening of lapis, the Spanish word for pencil. From the age of 7, Picasso received from formal artistic training from his father in figure drawing and oil painting. Ruiz was a traditional academic artist and instructor who believed that proper training required disciplined copying of the masters and drawing the human body from plaster cast and live models. The son became preoccupied with art to the detriment of his classwork. Next, we can see about his family. The family moved to A Corona in 1891, where his father became a professor at the School of Fine Arts. They stayed almost 4 years on one vacation. The father found his son painting over his unfinished sketch of a pigeon. Observing the precision of his son's technique, an apocryphal story relates Ruiz felt that the 13-year-old Picasso had surpassed him and vowed to give up painting, though paintings by him exist from later years. In 1895, Picasso was traumatized when his 7-year-old sister Conchita died of diphtheria. After her death, the family moved to Barcelona, where Ruiz took a position at the School of Fine Arts. Picasso thrived in the city, regarding in it times of sadness and nostalgia as his true home. Ruiz persuaded the officials at the academy to allow his son to take an entrance exam for the advanced class. This process often took students a month, but Picasso completed it in a week, and the jury admitted him at 13. As a student, Picasso lacked discipline but made friendships that would affect him in later life. His father rented a small room for him close to home so he could work a- alone. Yet he checked up on him numerous times a day judging his drawings. The two argued frequently. Next, we will see about his career. Picasso's training under his father began before 1890. His can be traced in the collection of early works now held by Museo Picasso in Barcelona, which provides one of the most comprehensive records extant of any major artist's beginnings. During 1893, the juvenile quality of his earliest work falls away, and by 1894, her career as a painter can be said to have begun. The academic realism apparent in the works of the mild 1890s is well displayed in the First Communion, a large composition that depicts his sister Lola. In the same year, at the age of 14, he painted a portrait of Aunt Peppa, a vigorous and dramatic portrait that Juan Eduardo Cirlot has called without a doubt one of the greatest in the whole history of Spanish painting. In 1897, as realism began to show symbolist influence, for example, in a series of landscape paintings rendered in non-naturalistic violet and green tones, what some call its modernist period followed. His exposure to the work of Rossetti Steinlen, Toulouse-Lautrec, and Edvard Munch, combined with his admiration for old masters such as El Greco, led Picasso to a personal version of modernism in his works of this period. Picasso made his first trip to Paris, then art capital of Europe, in 1900. There he met his first Parisian friend, journalist and poet Max Jacob, who helped Picasso learn the language and his literature. Soon they shared an apartment. Max slept at night while Picasso slept during the day and worked at night. These were times of severe poverty, cold, and desperation. Much of his work was burned to keep the small room warm. During the first 5 months of 1901, Picasso lived in Madrid, where he and his anarchist friend Francisco de Assis Solar founded the magazine Arte Joven, which publishes 5 issues. Soler selected articles and Picasso illustrated the journal, mostly contributing grim cartoons depicting and sympathizing with the state of poor. The first issue was published on 31 March 1901, by which time artists had started to sign his work of Picasso. From 1898, he signed his works as Pablo Ruiz Picasso, then as Pablo R. Picasso, until 1901. The change does not seem to imply a rejection of the father figure. Rather, he wanted to distinguish himself from others, initiated by his Catalan friends who habitually called him by his maternal surname, much less current than the paternal Ruiz. Next, we are going to see about Picasso's death. Pablo Picasso died on 8 April 1973 in Mougins, France, from pulmonary edema, a disease, and a heart failure, while he and his wife Jacqueline entertained friends for dinner. He was interned at the chateau of Waunerges near Aix in Provence, a property he had acquired in 1958 and occupied with Jacqueline between 1959 and 1962. Jacqueline prevented his children and Claude and Paloma from attending funeral. Devastated and lonely after the death of Picasso, Jacqueline killed herself by gunshot in 1986 when she was 59 years old. Next, we are going to see about Pablo Picasso quotes. There are many quotes he has written. Shall we see about the Pablo Picasso quotes? Yes. One quote. First quote. Everything you can imagine is real. Second quote. Every child is an artist. The problem is how to remain an artist once he grows up. Third, art is a lie that enables us to realize the truth. Fourth quote. Art washes away from the soul and the dust of everyday life. Fifth one. Others have seen what is and asked why. I have seen what could be and asked why not. Sixth one. Learn the rules like a pro so you can break them like an artist. Seventh one. Only put off until tomorrow what you are willing to die having left undone. Eighth one. Ah, good taste. What a dreadful thing. Taste is the enemy of creativeness. Next quote. When I was a child of my mother said to me, if you become a soldier, you will be general. If you become a monk, you will be pope. Instead, I became a painter and wound up as Picasso. Next quote. There are painters who transform the sun to a yellow spot, but there are others who, with the help of their heart and their intelligence, transform a yellow spot into sun. Next quote. It takes a very long time to become young. Next. The chief enemy of creativity is good sense. Next quote. I am always doing that which I cannot do it, in order that I may learn how to do it. Next quote. Inspiration exists, but it has to find you working. Next quote. What do you think an artist is? He is political being constantly aware of the heartbreaking, passionate or delightful things that happen in the world, shaping himself completely in their image. Painting is not done to decorate apartments, it is an instrument of war. Next quote. Bad artists copy, good artists steal. Next quote. The meaning of life is to find your gift. Purpose of life is to give it away. Next quote. We know that art is not truth. Art is a lie that makes us realize truth, at least the truth that is given us to understand. The artist must know the manner whereby to convince others of truthfulness in his lies. And that's it. Video came to an end. If you like this video, kindly share, comment, and don't forget to subscribe.